And this is basically the Selangor Club used to be, right? And it seems to be for military purposes during British colony, but eventually became a recreation and sports center. So this square is bonded by streets. You see the streets, river, yeah, we have river, and then hills which do not exist anymore because of the development, right? So this is our important monument. Yeah, the sound of Merdeka, Merdeka, Merdeka was actually originated here. But it's only leaving a straight pole, that's all. Pole, only a pole. If you touch a pole, okay, I'm Merdeka, I'm independent. But what is the soul behind it? We don't even have a flag to tell the story or something that is when you touch the pole and you can hear Tunku Abdul Rahman voice, yeah? When you touch the pole, Merdeka, Merdeka, something like that. It is interactive rather than, okay, that's a pole, I can see 3 meters away. Okay, that's a pole. And suddenly I'm already with the pole. Okay? So there's no soul and there's no motivation for you to really come up close to the historical and heritage elements in the city. It is basically 95-meter flag poles on top of the marble plug, okay? And annually a bunch of national parades and whatnot all be done here. Okay, so this is the city. You see the green grass, okay? You see the padang, this is the river, okay? And right, this is the image of our city, yeah? But look at the color of our river. It's always like this. And 3.5 billion is meant to clean up the river after all the disaster we meet. Okay? So this is Bangunan Sultan Salahuddin, and you see the character. I would like to bring you, or for you to focus on the background of the building. Yeah? We look at the differences. We see these green hills with the trees and whatnot, with the buildings and with the padang. It is so beautiful. You see, this is the I think the best composition. And then things change. The green has left. We don't have mountains anymore. We don't have hills. We don't have trees. You see what was before and what's happening now, right? And this is what we see. We don't see any single trees anymore except for the palms being planted here, right? And this is what we see today. Okay, from this one, all right, up to this one. You see? If I didn't see you before and after pictures, no one would realize this. Okay? And this is Bangunan Sultan Salahuddin. This here. Sultan Abdul Samad. Sultan Salahuddin. Keep on saying Sultan Salahuddin. Sultan Abdul Samad. Okay? Thank you, Puan Nur. Thank you, Dr. Noran. Okay? And then Sultan Abdul Samad. Okay? And this is what, but this picture was taken during the construction of the road, but there are, even with that, you can see lots of cars passes by. Okay, alright, this was before, and this is what you see. Look at the cars, look at the transportation that we see that is happening today. This is the clubhouse, okay, I forgot, but now it's better with the plantings and whatnot, yeah. Okay, this is again the Selangor Club, Kuala Lumpur. Okay, this is what's happening now. I want you to focus on the background, yeah? The background, you see, we don't have so much things, but look at the background today, yeah? But this is basically the sign of development. It's okay, yeah? This is a sign of development, but who controls the skyscrapers? And look at the differences between this architecture and the buildings surrounding this area, yeah? When our development made from 1950s to 1970s, we really cherish our culture. We bring it into our development, but not anymore today. These are our current building that is mushrooming. Yeah? So you see, no one is controlling them. Yeah? And how could we see our culture on the faces of this, on the facade of this building as compared to this building, as this is, yeah, sama juga dengan bangunan ni lah, Bank Negara Malaysia. Yeah? Okay. Okay. This one, tak nampak dan tak okay. Some of other images during that time. And this is a conflict, yeah, and all seems to be like shy away from this modern development. Yeah, so no one really cares. This is a church, yeah? But I believe some of the rectification done by private sector, but I believe we need more when it comes to preservation of historical or heritage building in the city. Okay, this is again Masjid Jami', how beautiful it is. Look at the edges, yeah? Look at the bridges, you see, and look at the background. And we don't really see this anymore because it is like this nowadays. Yeah? Let me just go back. This is what it used to be before, and this is what's happening now. Okay? We still have green, but the percentage of green that has been stripped out is a lot actually. Okay, this is again our commercial center and how does it look like, and now what is happening. Okay, I don't understand why the pink color has got to be here, but it's okay. This was before. Okay, look at the area, the people, then see things coming like this. Okay, look at the people. All right, and now it's, you see, it is so crowded and no one is really care about the facade of the buildings and the smooth, the harmonized, we're talking about city of harmony, but in this case we don't really see the harmonization between buildings and facades, yeah? Okay, this is Central Market. See what's happening now, yeah? Okay, this is Petaling Street, right? It's changing from these images to this one, and what's happening now? See, Petaling Street, yeah? Okay, so in conclusion, discussion about sustainable development in recent years concentrated mostly on rapid development of urban areas. So among sorry. Salah tak. Okay, yeah. Alright. So among various challenges, rapid urbanization, iteration of historic urban areas as the historic and cultural heritage of nations has become under consideration. Therefore, balancing. We're talking about today. I'm not going against development. Definitely, I'm so happy with what's happening in Malaysia, and I am so obligated to the people who has made this has changed Kuala Lumpur from one city with only a river, but a city with the river of gold. Yeah, from mining turning into gold. Kuala Lumpur is one of the best cities in the world. But then here I'm standing here to talking about giving balance to our culture and heritage and cherishing our culture and heritage and putting it together with our future development, because we are basically not designing for today, but we are designing for the future. And a serious attempt has launched by the United Nations to demonstrate the role of heritage and its integration of sustainable development context. So ICOMOS has focused on the possible strategies and solutions for contributing heritage in the face of issues on development. So that means we have to bring our culture, we have to bring our heritage. This is the root of our nation. Let us be proud of what we have today, and let us bring this for our future generation. In our hand, in our brain, in our fingers, and in our heart, we are basically dedicating our life for our future generation. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. So I believe that's the discussion all about. So since it is an intellectual discourse, very intellectual, so we have to have questions so that it doesn't look intellectual, but it's just a seminar or something like that. So we need a discussion here, whether it is an opinion or it is a question that I am not supposed to answer alone, but maybe our members of our sessions today can help me to share what's happening in your country maybe. So today is about sharing moments. So what I'm giving you just now is a glimpse of what's happening in Kuala Lumpur. So I'm now, with due respect, open up for discussion or intellectual discourse this morning. Thank you very much. Imam, would you like to start first? You can push that button. Okay, alright.
Thank you for your presentation, madam. It has been very inspiring because I believe the same scenario is happening in all the countries. basically after the colonial period in the Asian countries. Because I'm from Bangladesh and Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, is basically containing the similar scenario. When I can recall, I was born in 1980s, basically 1988, but when my parents were living in Dhaka in the retro period, so basically in the 1970s and 1980s, so the streets were quite wide and open, and similar as there were many spaces there. So my point is, these places were changing about after the colonial period, when the people were seemed to be very happy and they were enjoying the open spaces. So basically right now, right at this moment, we are bringing the past. We want to bring the past to our present because it brings the happy moments.
Yes.
But we already forgot. Are we being judgmental about this? Because when we are talking about the retro periods, so at the 80s, were the people too happy, basically, that was the moment that people were coming from the rural areas, and they also contained their images from the rural areas.
That's correct.
Also.
Yes.
So, is there any confliction at that moment with the people that the new town is building and that there were new places and new roads and new infrastructures there, and they also contain the images of the rural period or rural times actually. So were there any contradiction of the people at that moment?
Yeah.
So that's that thing I want to know.
Thank you, Imam. And in my research, basically, there's a paper done by, there's one paper that was published in 1970s. Yeah? So 1970 was the time where rural-urban migration happened in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah. So then, in the beginning, this community, they live in squatter settlements. You see, when I show you the picture just now, so that was actually a squatter settlement. It is illegal in that moment. That means they don't have, it is not their land, but then they built the houses. And at that time, they basically, these rural-urban migrants, when they came to Kuala Lumpur, they rebuilt, they replicate villages back in the village to Kuala Lumpur. So in that area, they live just like in the village. It is the difference is they don't go to the agriculture farm, but they go to the offices. But other lifestyles are the same. That means if they have patches of green area, they do agriculture or farming, a little bit of urban farmings, and then they still continue the traditions of gotong royong. They still continue the traditions of close-knit relationships among. But these are all new friends in the new adopted city, adopted village in the city. Now we call it squatter settlements. Yeah. So they have been there, I believe, from 1970s until 1990s. It is about 30 years. Some of them built bungalows in the squatter settlement because if you are hardworking, you can build as big as possible, your house as big as possible, as long as you have money and you want to build it, because there's no right, you do it because the property or the land is actually owned by government, it is not by the individual. And then starting from 1990s, then the Selangor government in particular started to think that squatter settlement in Kuala Lumpur is very unsightly. Yeah? So there are lots of social problems in squatter settlement. Sometimes they are dirty, they are not, because they don't have facilities. Sometimes electric and water facilities. So there are lots of health and social issues happening. So from 1990s, then they started to build multi-story houses. We call here flat houses. Yeah. So this is a transition, the time where the Malays, we're talking about the Malays who come from the village to the city center. Yeah, because the Chinese community, they're already here in urban area. So from this bungalow, timber bungalow in squatter settlement, they have to move. They are compulsory to move because all the houses will be scraped off. Yeah? So they have to move to the new allocated flat houses which is around 13 to 20 levels, with only 2 bedrooms. And at that time, the Malays, they like to give birth to the children. Sometimes it is not 5 members in the family, sometimes 10, because normally ladies didn't go to work, only the husband. So they produce children every year. Most of the, some of the family members, they have around 10 children in the house. The least was actually, I think at that time, around 5 to 6. That's the minimum number from 1970s to 1990s. And with these 10 children, they have to move to the flat houses with only 2 bedrooms. Then there you are, the social problems in Kuala Lumpur was high-up. Yeah? And then because 1 bedroom definitely for the parents. And then we have only 1 extra bedroom normally dedicated for the girls. So how about the boys in the house? So then that's why they like to spend their time outside the house. They go and do truancy, spending their time more with the friends rather than with the family. And then the houses they have to pay, because it is not free given the house by the government. They still have to pay, but with less percentage. But see, they have to work extra to pay for the house, and the father didn't come back until 10 o'clock. And that's when the social issues started to rooted, as like what we see today. Yeah? The housing, the changes of lifestyle, the changes of housing scheme that was given by the government has actually rooted or making our social issues in Kuala Lumpur becoming greater. And then starting from late 1990s, and the government in housing industry realized that flat with 2 bedroom houses is not enough for the community, so they changed flats with 3 bedrooms at least, 3 bedrooms. So these are the consequences of the things that is happening from 1970s until 1990s. And there was also recorded one story by Banal, 1970s, because these people used to have their houses, their bungalows on ground. Yeah. So in the beginning of the moment of the period when they are staying in, for example, 10th floor of the flat houses. And these people sometimes, they live next to the river. They are so used to throw the rubbish to the river, yeah. So cooking and everything, just throw the rubbish, because it is so sustainable, so environmental. Because they don't have local authority to come and pick up the rubbish every day, something like that. So if they didn't burn up the rubbish, they have to throw it to the river. And then there's one issue recorded in that research paper. There's one resident actually throwing a stone or brick from 10th floor of the flat to the ground, and suddenly there's someone on the ground, and actually so reasoning to death. Yeah? So that person. So this kind of issues were actually really difficult to be tackled during that time. That is changing the people's lifestyle from village to the squatter settlement in the city, and then to the multi-story living environment in the city, and in fact in a different place. Yeah. So we were also facing these kind of challenges for the community. Not only about these are very significant, because it is until death of that person. But of course, when you are living in that kind of environment, it is very stressful. Then one resident started to quarrel with another resident. So there's so many things. There's so lots of social issues that we do. So we went through that kind of phases. Yes.